So you might have read the article. You can check it out down below. It's from Insider.com, but it talks about how the Buffalo Bills basically took out squatting, and now because they don't squat anymore in season, they don't get hurt. Right? That's what the article says. No more squats for anyone again, right? Well, just think about this first off. Do you think this article would have been written if the Buffalo Bills were not Super Bowl contenders? Let's say they didn't make the playoffs. Right? They're not Super Bowl contenders anymore based on their performance recently against Kansas City. Great game. Lost. Now they lost. Or if Kansas City squatted, do they get hurt more, but they have more likely to win? Or they're more likely to win because they squatted? Well, no, it's all silly, right? Just whenever you read something like this, it's an unfortunate situation. It's typically written because the topic itself is innately contradictory. Oh, these guys did this and this happened, therefore, wow, right? It's not really any aspect of critical thinking going on in regards to the analysis of a situation like this. Professional athletics, they deal with lots of things beyond just squatting, and to draw causality from any single movement is kind of silly, right? There's lots of injuries that happen in football. Are they getting tackled and hurt in the upper extremities, their upper body at all? And because they're not squatting, is that why their upper body's not getting hurt? Right? Are they having less situations where they're not in contact injuries because they're not squatting? I don't think that the line of causality here is very shaky. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't write an article and maybe as an observer, it's something of interest to think about. But when you read about other things going on in the article and you talk about all the other aspects of lifting they keep referring back to, that's great and all, but what about practice? One of the biggest related aspects to injury in general, especially in the itises or overuse stuff, is just acute to chronic. How much are you doing now relative to what you have been doing? So, what about practice? What about the game setting and how they're managing certain, I shouldn't say game setting, but game-like aspects in practice? There's numerous variables beyond just that of, are they going to back squat or not? And the unfortunate nature of a paper like this or article like this is it's innately contradictory to what we've all been taught, and what we all think. We must squat to be injury. People tell us all the time we should squat and we will be more injury resilient. And this professional team doesn't squat and they're very injury resilient, therefore you shouldn't squat. I don't know if I can draw that line, right? So anytime you see an article like this, please think about it beyond what is actually being said. Why is it even written? It's probably written because it's a good football team. And it's a good football team, and they haven't made the Super Bowl in a while. They have a chance to make the Super Bowl, and they didn't win. But they had a chance to make it, and so it might, be interesting. They find a topic to talk about. Now you can actually read the article and talk about how they do deadlifts and hang cleans and bench press, and they don't do the back squat because it's excessive stress on the body. You could be like, well, those other movements, like catching a potentially 200 or 300-pound bar in a hang clean in a catch position, is kind of a lot of impact and stress on the body. Bench pressing, still a lot of stress on the body. Deadlift, arguably one of the most stressful lifts. So I'm not, do they do squat patterns? I don't know. They didn't talk about that. So there's lots of things totally missing. There's absence of context here. But the point of it all is whenever you read something like this, just read it and don't try and leverage it as evidence for your own benefit or to show one thing or the other. Because guess what? The article itself is lacking so much context. If you're taking this and using it as evidence for your own methods or whatever, it's like taking, I don't want to go there, but it's like taking something that isn't well defined and trying to, say that the evidence is shaky. Okay, we'll put it at that. The fact that you're using evidence that is so shaky to support whatever reason you have just makes your reasoning, even if it's right, maybe not as good, right? Okay, the evidence makes it look poor. Because the evidence itself is so shaky, I'm sure you can justify your reasons however you want. But again, we should also consider that if this team loses a bunch of games, is the strength staff doing a bad job? No! The strength staff is not calling plays. They are not subbing players in and out. They are not involved. in any of the technical, tactical aspects in the acute game management. So, they shouldn't necessarily be, they should obviously be applauded when they do things well. That's great. Less injuries, wonderful. That's a wonderful goal. That's a great goal to have. That's a good thing to do. Applaud them for that. They probably played a role in it. But if they didn't win any games, you should still applaud them because that's a great job from what they did. And don't take away their success and benefits because they win or they lose. Point to the successes they have that are independent of wins and losses. And it probably did help them win more games if they had more availability. But then they go on to say that's because they don't squat. Just kind of takes away from the good things they've done. So that's my take on this situation. Go read the article, check it out yourself. My little reaction to this. If you guys have any other articles you want me to react to, let me know. I appreciate y'all as always. Thanks for subscribing. Take care and enjoy.